Wheel. Hello, everyone. It's Monday. We're almost through Monday. We almost did it. My name is Jack Ferry. Pronouns are he, him, his. I am the Membership and Events Coordinator for the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to Live with the Chamber. So excited that you're joining us. We have a fabulous guest. Super excited to get to them. But before we get started, just want to give a recap of the last few days. Usually at this point, we would talk about our new member moment. We didn't have any members join this weekend. It doesn't mean you can't join. You can go onto our website, wislgbtchamber.com, for more information of how to become a member of the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce. For our upcoming events, once again, we have our Chamber on Tap Pet Edition, Tuesday, July 28th, 5:30 to 6:30. It's on Zoom. It should be a great time. And yes, you heard me correctly. It's a pet edition. We are encouraging everyone to bring in their furry pets, lizards, again, your pet rock, your Furbies, what have you. We're all going to have our pets all together for our Zoom. It should be a lot of fun. It'll be a fun hour of connecting with folks from all across the state. It should be pretty great. Which brings us to our tip of the day. Today, I wanted to be sure that everyone has access to their membership page. If you are a member of the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber of Commerce, you have a password and username for Chamber Master. This is where you update your business listing, share your upcoming events, all that great stuff, update your representatives. I want to be sure that you all know how to log into that. So let's take you to a video for a second. This is our website, wislgbtchamber.com. Boom. You're going to go to the About the Chamber, scroll on down, hit member login. Everyone's going to have to squint to see this, but you'll see the username and password there. Type it in. I'm typing in my email at email.com. Is not real. You want to do that. If you've forgotten your password, no worries. Tap on the little link below, and that will get you set up and on your way. We want to be sure that everyone updates their business listing as often as possible so we have the most accurate information and folks know how to get in touch with you. Also important. That's it for that. I want to be sure to welcome in our special guests today. We have from the about to open Evergreen Florist of Appleton. It's Spencer Seim and Joe Whitehouse. Hello, friends.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good over here. How's it going?
It's been good. You were telling me before we were on the air that you were sort of wrapping up or continuing a little project. What is that?
Oh, we're building our floral cooler.
Yes.
Which is exciting because florists usually aren't construction workers.
There's been a lot of learning experiences along the way.
Yeah.
For sure.
He actually has a degree in, studied sculpture. So there's we kind of have a base of knowledge to work with at least.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah.
So how did you get from studying sculpture to going into the floral business?
Well, my grandma owns a flower shop, which is also Evergreen Florist, where my name came from. And after college, I just started working for her as like an in-between gig and realized how much I love it and how deeply ingrained it is in my blood. So it just kind of like organically grew out of like a part-time delivery job.
Yeah.
Organically grew. I love it. Glad that we got to do all these floral plans that we can. I dug this out. I was like, I need to find my florals. They were all packed away after spring, but we're bringing this back out just for you.
Yeah, that makes me feel bad about not wearing any floral.
No, not at all. But I do want to touch on that you haven't technically or officially opened your doors for Evergreen Florist. The sort of big opening has not happened yet. You're opening August 1st. You're opening during a pandemic. How did all of this come about, and how have you been dealing with this challenge?
one step at a time, I guess.
Yeah, just taking time to figure out like the best way to go about it. I mean, obviously, we weren't planning for really want to do and feel like we should do, and so we're just powering through the best that we can.
Yeah, it was. We originally wanted to be open by May so that we could, like be available for Mother's Day. But that didn't happen because May was looking pretty scary. So we kind of like took the time to just take a step back and cool our heels for a while and see where it took us. And then as things played out, we realized that actually a florist is kind of a really great business for social distancing and everything. You still want to be there for people and be able to make those gestures that are just, hey, like I'm thinking of you, and they go an extra super long way when you can't leave your house for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
So we just decided to go for it, and we've been coming up with creative solutions to handle the problems we encounter.
Yeah, I feel like we're weirdly fortunate because we weren't open before COVID hit, so we've been able to take a step back and have the time to really figure out the most responsible way to go about opening our doors and making sure everybody is safe and taken care of while we deliver them some beautiful product.
Yeah,
definitely. And speaking of taking care, how have you been taking care? You're opening this new thing. You were telling me about sort of doing some work on your house. How are you sort of finding time to unwind? Is there time to unwind?
I guess there is if you make some. Like, personally, I'm Jewish, and we take both Shabbat, like Sabbath, really, really seriously. So I kind of have this like cultural notion of self-care already like built in. But also it's kind of, we find time here and there. Animal Crossing has been a huge savior for us during the whole quarantine and through opening a business. But also this is like just something that we really love doing. So I feel like for us, opening a florist isn't quite as stressful as opening another type of business would be, because I still get to play with my plants and like be in the garden in dirt and whatnot. So
this is how we would be spending a lot of our time anyway. So.
Yeah, this is actually, now I have like the money to spend on plants and supplies to be playing.
Well, yeah.
Like now I have an excuse to be doing it, whereas in quarantine I would just be like, man, I wish I could buy another plant.
Yeah, for sure. And Joe, we talked about your background a little bit, but Spencer, what was your background before Evergreen Florist?
So many weird things. So I actually studied comparative theology, but I ended up working at, yeah, I know, the weirdest thing, but I ended up working at Charles the Florist, which was like kind of a downtown Appleton icon, and Joe was working there at the same time. Then I moved to Savannah actually to like finish college. I was doing an externship there. Moved back, started working at Charles the Florist again because I didn't like working at it was a microbrew pub thing that I was working at down there. And yeah, I just fell in love with the floral industry, and here we are now opening our own florist.
I love that. That's awesome. As I was going through the website for Evergreen, and there's also a point to everyone, their Facebook page is in the comments. If this worked out, go and give them a like, see what they have opening August 1st. As I was going through your website, I noticed sort of all of the classic floral arrangements. You got your anniversaries, prom. I saw that you have flower crowns and I'm sorry packages available. I love that you have I'm sorry gifts. I think that is so important for folks to put out there. But has there been anything else that's been super fun creatively with this floral designing? Or what's your favorite, rather?
That's tough. My favorite time to be a designer is definitely fall. I love that whole color scheme, so I'm excited that that's coming up. But I like challenging things, so like come up with some crazy idea and I'll figure out how to make it, because those are the most fun. I think it comes from like studying sculpture and stuff. Like there's always a way to make it happen. Just got to figure out how.
We had, there was one arrangement where it was being sent to a woman in a nursing home who had really, really bad vision. She was visually impaired. So we were asked to make something that would still be really, really cool, but you wouldn't necessarily have to look at it to like interact with it. So he made actually a really, really beautiful arrangement that was very bright and like textural, and it was like very scented. So it still like was interactive without relying on a visual component, which I thought was really cool. But you kind of shine in those moments where when we first get the order, we look at each other and we're like, I don't know how this is going to happen. And then a couple minutes later, he's like, oh, and I can put this in there and I can do this.
No, that's awesome. You were talking about innovative ways for opening and safety. What is the first day going to look like for Evergreen Florist?
So the big one is going to be our first round of deliveries. We have a subscription service that we're starting, and so the first month of that will go out on that day. We're also going to be doing like kind of a little pop-up thing in our garden. We've got a nice patio to work with there. So we're going to be outside instead of inside, which is like the big thing. They're saying that ventilation is like one of the best things we can do for COVID. We're all going to be masked. I'm going to be masked while I'm out delivering, and we're just going to be hanging out here. Come out and stop by, say hello, pick up some flowers, or just like hang out with us and get to know our garden.
I love the idea of the subscription boxes. You were talking about doing delivery for those. How far is that going out?
Pretty much, I forget like the actual mile radius that it like is on our website, but basically the Fox Valley. We'll go to like Neenah.
Sherwood,
we'll go to Sherwood. We'll go to Neenah.
Black Creek, I think.
Greenville. Yeah, we'll do Black Creek.
So trying to get up to the outskirts of the Fox Valley as well.
Nice, very good. And yeah, as we get closer and closer to this opening date of August 1st, what else do you want folks to know about your business, Evergreen?
I would say probably like our community focus. Like we're kind of basing our shop obviously off of his grandma's Evergreen Florist, which is really kind of like a community hangout spot. So like people will just stop over and like have a cup of coffee with his grandma there, and like it's just like a community space, and that's kind of what we're trying to make here. We were really excited about the garden because it's a nice open green space, which we don't get enough of in an urban environment. So
yeah, unfortunately with everything going on, we are having to postpone a lot of the community involvement that we want, and also figuring out creative solutions to those problems. But the space that we have is really like, we were keeping that in mind when we were looking on where to set up Evergreen, and the space that we have is so perfect for welcoming the community and hosting events with like different organizations around town and all of that. So
the elementary school I went to is like 2 blocks that way. So
wow,
it's very like we're a community-driven florist by all means.
Definitely something we want to foster and grow as things change.
I love the idea of like your grandma's Evergreen being a hangout spot. Are there any plans? I know given travel restrictions and with the pandemic, do you know if she's going to visit? Will she be there for FaceTime during opening day?
She was actually planning on it, but some health problems came up. So
I'm sorry.
She's fine, but she's having to get close to home. So we're waiting for that, but eventually she will. I do think I have an aunt whose daughter goes to camp in the area somewhere. And so I think that she might have a surprise visit in mind for opening day. So that'll be cool. She helps
that's lovely.
a lot at the flower shop. So she has a lot of experience in this as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, before I let you go, I wanted to, this is just something that we talked about, the three of us, but you joined the Wisconsin LGBT Chamber a few weeks ago before opening. What made you make that decision? Why did you decide to join?
I think it's just a really necessary thing, like it's a great form of representation, and it's a great way for us to be more active in the community as like official LGBT business owners, which I mean, that's kind of tongue in cheek, but also it does, you know, like it carries weight when you have an organization behind you. And that's also why we're part of WUMFA, the Wisconsin Upper Michigan Floral Association. So
yeah, and I want to be known as like a safe space for, especially like kids in high school want to go to prom, not sure if they are comfortable going into a florist to ask for like same-sex flowers or whatever. Like I want to be known in the community as a place that's safe for anyone to come and, you know, figure out what they want.
Yeah, especially because like we've all had that experience where you're like, okay, I really want to do this thing, but I'm also gonna have to out myself, and I don't know how chill this person's gonna be about that. So like, if we just advertise it and are loud about it and out there about it, then
yeah,
everybody just knows right off the bat. And it's so much easier. And if we can make that one person a little more comfortable, then we're going to. So
beautifully said. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for being that resource for folks out in Appleton. Going to your story sort of about, you know, not being sure if you can out yourself in a certain space for asking for a same-sex floor arrangement. That kind of resonated with me. I'm a little stunned. It kind of takes me back. So thank you for being there, and thank you for joining, being such great members. I appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I will let you go on with your day, but before we close out, I want to ask, what has been entertaining you these past few months?
Animal Crossing.
And I've reconnected with my brother and sister-in-law through Fortnite, so that's been fun.
Yeah, I've been hanging out. My sister and brother-in-law and my 2 nephews live in the area as well, and they're kind of in our quarantine pod. We started self-isolating at the same time, so I've been getting introduced to the hip new kids music.
What have you been listening to? What is the hip kids music?
Yesterday, actually, my nephew Kai introduced me to this guy, Austin Weber. He's on Spotify, and he has a really great cover of Mamma Mia. And at first he asked me to play it, and I was like, no, you don't cover ABBA. And he was like, no, like, trust me, just listen to it. Like, the original is a bop too, but this is also amazing. And we actually put it on this morning while we were getting ready because it's a really good cover.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your afternoon with us. Everyone, April 1st, Evergreen Floral Appleton. Go and see. April 1st, August 1st. Goodness. Well,
April Fools, August 1st.
Perfect. Thank you for being such good sports. I appreciate you so much. Everyone, go and like their Facebook page. It's in the comments here. Spencer and Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you
later. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for Live at the Chamber. Thanks for bearing with me through these flubs. If you have any questions about membership or being in our next Live at the Chamber, my email is below, jack@wislgbtchamber.com. Join us Wednesday for a conversation with Troy Yilmaz of Branding Hatch. Should be a lot of fun. Until then, everyone, take care, drink water. See you Wednesday.